Bah! Alright everybody, this is Julian from RawPhysique again. Today I'm going to talk about how to build a massive chest, or as massive as your genetics or steroid will let you build. Now, first thing you should know when you're working out your chest and you're pumping that iron to get that block looking formation that looks so badass is that everyone's chest is not shaped the same. Some people's chest, the way the muscle sits and attaches to different parts of your skeletal structure, will determine what your chest looks like. So you could have a massive chest, but it's not going to have that square shape that a lot of people are actually trying to get. Now you can try to isolate lower chest, center chest, and upper chest in order to build that specific part of the chest and make it large. But that's about all the control you have over what your chest looks like. So let's talk about how to actually build those specific parts of the chest. Now, you have your normal flat bench, the main exercise everyone does to try to see how strong they are compared to other people. Even with this exercise, the way your muscle connects to your shoulder can actually interfere or help what your max bench is going to be. Some people could have massive chests and their bench won't be as good as someone who has a smaller chest with better leverage, let's say, the way their muscle connects to their skeletal frame. But don't let that deter you. The only person you should be competing with is yourself, because ultimately that's what you're trying to get better. So simple flat bench. It's a compound exercise, meaning it's using multiple muscle groups, and that's what everyone looks at when you're actually in the gym working out. Don't lie, you know you're checking out everyone benching, trying to make sure you're doing a little bit more than they are. But anyway, that basically hits the middle of your chest, is where it's mostly isolated. It hits your shoulder as well, and your upper and lower chest slightly. But most of the strain is on that center part of the muscle, if you're using good form. Basically with flat bench, you want to have your elbows tucked in and you want the bar to come down kind of across where your nipples are, maybe even a little bit lower, and when you push it back up, the bar will be around your chin or your neck. And when you bring it back down, it comes down with your elbows tucked in, it comes down to your chest again, a little bit below the nipples. It's important to use good form because you do not want to blow your shoulder out. A lot of injuries come from improper benching and bringing your elbows up and putting too much strain on your front deltoid. So you do not want that, it is bad. And you can permanently fuck yourself up, believe me. I've seen people in the gym that could bench like 450 pounds without a spotter, like sets of 5. And they would end up blowing out their shoulder, and for the next like year and a half, they would be benching like half that, trying to heal that injury. So you do not want to do that. That will set you back very far. It's good to start with good form. Good form. Make sure you're using good form. Anyway, let's move to incline bench. This is where you're not laying flat, but you're around a 30 to 40 degree angle, pressing the bar up. Now, this will hit your front deltoid muscle, along with the upper chest. Now, this is also an easy exercise to injure yourself on, but it's also the most beneficial to your physique. Most people are lacking in like a deltoid and an upper chest visual physique. If you have these parts of your body built up, and you can't see your collarbone because there's muscle around it, and you have that rounded shoulder with the large upper chest, you will look more built than, even if you're more built than that, but people could stare at your collarbone and your less rounded shoulder. So incline barbell and incline dumbbell are both very important to build up upper chest and shoulder. Just make sure you're doing good, steady form, because again, you can injure yourself. And for the most time on incline bench, people can't do as much as they can on flat bench. I think I met one guy one time that his max was actually greater on his incline than it was on his flat bench. And then that brings us to decline bench, where once it's built up and you get used to actually doing decline bench, usually your decline could be heavier and more weight than your flat bench. The decline hits basically your lower chest. It'll give it that almost under boob like look and make it look like you have two giant pieces of meat on your chest, like a boss. Now with decline, you are leaning back at around a 30-degree angle. This varies a lot just depending on how you work out and what feels comfortable to you. But you're bringing the weight to your lower chest and pushing it up just like flat bench and incline bench. These are pushing exercises, so that's basically all you're doing is just pushing the weight off you. Now, with decline bench, not having a spotter is dangerous. Because if you don't have a spotter on flat or incline bench, you could roll the weight off you if you can't push it. Just as long as you don't have the bar clamps on the side holding the weight on. Now, if you're using bar clamps benching, then your technique is probably off. You should not be benching with one arm pushing way in front of the other. Both arms should be at the exact same level when you're pushing up. So, without bar clamps, you could roll that shit off you on flat bench, and on incline, you could bring it down and kind of drop at your waist, which kind of hurts like a bitch, but you can still get that shit off yourself. On decline, the bar, with gravity, thanks to Newton's apple, will be pulling down towards your fucking neck. So since most of the time that I don't have a spotter in the gym, I will use dumbbells for my decline bench press, or a machine. Because the last thing you want is to not make that last rep and have all that weight coming back towards your neck. Yeah, so decline can be dangerous. Just make sure you have a spotter or you know what you're doing. The problem is you make most of your gains, if not all of your gains, from the last 1 or 2 reps that you're pushing out. The most intense, impossible, heavy, fatigued reps you are pushing out at the very end. That is where most of your gains are being made throughout any exercise. Now, if you're trying to build a massive chest, you should work it out probably at least twice a week with a couple days in between. For muscle growth, anything between 8 and 12 sets works. For strength, sets around 5 work. And anything higher than 12, then what the fuck are you doing in there? This isn't a damn marathon. You're trying to get fucking ripped. Trying to get that goddamn massive chest. Now, when you're working out your chest twice a week, you don't want to like overwork it out. If you have a huge volume day where you completely just destroy your chest, and then like 2 days later you try to do your chest, you're not going to benefit from working out a damaged chest. Now, your muscles do generally repair themselves and get back to normal within 48 hours. So that's why I say put at least 2 or 3 days in between, because you want to make sure your chest is up to 100% again before you go into the next workout. Now, depending on how many reps and sets you do with each exercise, you should aim somewhere between 4 to even 8 chest exercises for each chest workout. Now, if you're doing 8 different chest workouts, then the most sets I would do is 3 per exercise. If you're doing 4 or 5 exercises for the chest on one day, then I would do anywhere between 4 sets and 6 sets per exercise. Now, when you're doing these exercises, make sure you focus on your chest when you're working out. If you're just bringing the weight down, throwing it up and down, you will hit your chest, but you're also hitting your shoulders too, and it's not as good form as actually focusing on your chest when you're doing each rep. When you focus on your chest, you will feel your chest activate more. And once all the muscle fibers are activating and you're exercising, you will get a lot bigger pump in your chest, which is what you want if you're trying to actually build muscle. So let's say if you're doing incline dumbbell or barbell, focus on the upper chest and pulling your elbow in, causing it to push upward. Focus on pulling your elbows in. You don't want to focus on pushing, because then you'll be hitting your triceps more, which are already getting hit during the exercise. So just remember, even flat bench decline, focus on your chest and having your chest pull your elbows in. Believe me, if this is your first time working out chest and focusing on it and pushing 100%, you will suffer from DOMS the next day or next couple days. Delayed onset muscle soreness. That good feeling after a workout the next day when you're sore. Now, you don't have to be sore to actually build muscle. You have to just increase volume and trigger progressive overload, which I did a video on and I'll probably post at the end of this video. So no matter what you're doing, if you're doing even butterflies, just focus on the chest. You will thank me in a couple months when your chest is looking beastly, or at least better than it was. So remember, good form, focus on your chest when you're actually working it out. That will trigger more muscle fibers than just throwing the weight around. Use a spotter if you do not think you can get the weight, because you will be building on those last couple reps of your set. That's where the tears and the breakdown of the muscle happens most. And the rebuilding of that is how the muscle grows. And make sure you're eating enough protein. I might post that in the link below. But alright y'all, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you want me to make a video, leave that in the comments and I'll try to do that as well. Keep pumping that iron if you want to look like a damn beast. If you like the video, subscribe and like the video. That helps me know I'm doing a good job. Check out my other physique building videos right here. And don't forget, good form, good form. Visit Julian-RawPhysique if the site isn't down. And y'all, peace.